Kelek was an electrical manufacturing company formerly based in Delaware. In 2001, Kelek was acquired by Parson Seymour, which was later acquired by Legrand in 2007. Kelek no longer manufactures panel boards. Although circuit breakers and other replacement parts for Kelek panel boards may still be available from electrical distributors or online retailers, their availability may vary depending on the specific model and age of the panel board. It is recommended to contact a licensed electrician for assistance in locating parts. It is important to consider several factors when evaluating Kelek panel boards. Firstly, age. Kelek panel boards are likely to be over 20 years old, and older electrical equipment may not meet current safety standards. Secondly, reliability. The reliability of older panel boards can be compromised over time due to age, wear, and thermal stress. Thirdly, code compliance. Kelek panel boards may not comply with the latest electrical codes, which can affect insurance coverage and safety. Fourthly, future maintenance. The availability of replacement parts for Kelek panel boards may become increasingly limited in the future, potentially leading to higher maintenance costs. Based on these considerations, it is generally advisable to budget for the replacement of Kelek panel boards in the near future. While parts may still be available, the potential risks and higher maintenance costs associated with older panel boards outweigh the benefits of continued use. When evaluating panel boards, it's crucial to consider the National Electrical Code, also known as NEC, requirements. The NEC provides guidelines for the safe installation and maintenance of electrical systems. For instance, NEC Article 408 addresses switchboards, switchgear, and panel boards. This article covers various aspects such as overcurrent protection, grounding, and working clearances. Understanding NEC requirements is essential for ensuring the safety and compliance of electrical installations. Overcurrent protection is a critical aspect of panel board design and installation. Circuit breakers and fuses are used to protect circuits from overloads and short circuits. The NEC specifies the requirements for overcurrent protection in Article 240. This article covers topics such as the selection and coordination of overcurrent devices. Proper overcurrent protection helps to prevent electrical fires and equipment damage. Grounding is another essential safety feature of panel boards. Grounding provides a path for fault current to flow back to the source, which helps to treat the overcurrent device and to energize the circuit. The NEC specifies the requirements for grounding in Article 250. This article covers topics such as grounding electrode systems, equipment grounding conductors, and bonding. Proper grounding helps to reduce the risk of electric shock. Working clearances around panel boards are also important for safety. The NEC specifies the minimum working clearances in Article 110. These clearances provide enough space for electricians to safely work on the panel board. Adequate working clearances help to prevent accidents and injuries. When selecting a replacement panel board, it's important to consider the load requirements of the electrical system. The panel board must be sized to handle the total load of all the circuits that it serves. The NEC provides guidance on calculating the load requirements in Article 220. This article covers topics such as general lighting loads, appliance loads, and motor loads. Proper load calculations help to ensure that the panel board is not overloaded. The short circuit current rating, also known as SCCR, of a panel board is also an important consideration. The SCCR is the maximum amount of fault current that the panel board can safely withstand. The NEC requires that panel boards have an SCCR that is equal to or greater than the available fault current at the panel board location. This requirement helps to prevent equipment damage and electrical fires during a short circuit event. Surge protection is another important aspect of panel board design. Surge protective devices, also known as SPD, can be installed in panel boards to protect sensitive electronic equipment from voltage surges. The NEC recommends the use of SPD in certain applications. Voltage surges can damage electronic equipment and cause data loss. Arc fault circuit interrupters, also known as ASIs, are another important safety feature that can be installed in panel boards. ASIs are designed to detect arc faults, which are a common cause of electrical fires. The NEC requires the use of a size in certain circuits, such as those that serve bedrooms. A size can help to prevent electrical fires and save lives. When installing a panel board, it's important to follow the manufacturer's instructions. The manufacturer's instructions provide detailed information on how to install the panel board safely and correctly. Following the manufacturer's instructions helps to ensure that the panel board will perform as intended. Regular maintenance of panel boards is also important for safety and reliability. Panel boards should be inspected periodically for signs of damage or corrosion. Circuit breakers should be tested to ensure that they are operating properly. Loose connections should be tightened. Regular maintenance can help to prevent electrical problems and extend the life of the panel board. When replacing a panel board, it's important to disconnect the power to the panel board before starting work. This will help to prevent electric shock. The NEC requires that all electrical work be performed by qualified personnel. Qualified personnel have the training and experience necessary to perform electrical work safely and correctly. Replacing a panel board can be a complex task, so it's important to hire a qualified electrician to do the job. The cost of replacing a panel board can vary depending on several factors, such as the size of the panel board, the complexity of the installation, and the location of the panel board. It's important to get several estimates from different electricians before making a decision. Replacing a panel board can be a significant investment, but it's an investment in safety and reliability. When choosing a replacement panel board, it's important to consider the different types of panel boards that are available. There are several different types of panel boards, such as main lug-only panel boards, main breaker panel boards, and sub-panel panel boards. Each type of panel board has its own advantages and disadvantages. The type of panel board that is best for a particular application will depend on the specific requirements of the electrical system. A main lug-only panel board is a type of panel board that does not have a main breaker. Main lug-only panel boards are typically used as sub-panels, which are panel boards that are fed from another panel board. Main lug-only panel boards are less expensive than main breaker panel boards, but they do not provide the same level of protection. A main breaker panel board is a type of panel board that has a main breaker. The main breaker is a large circuit breaker that protects the entire panel board. Main breaker panel boards are typically used as service entrance panel boards, which are the panel boards that receive power directly from the utility company. Main breaker panel boards provide a higher level of protection than main lug-only panel boards. A sub-panel board is a type of panel board that is fed from another panel board. Sub-panel boards are typically used to distribute power to different areas of a building. Sub-panel boards can be either main lug-only panel boards or main breaker panel boards. When selecting a replacement panel board, it's important to consider the number of circuits that the panel board will need to support. The number of circuits that a panel board can support is determined by the number of spaces in the panel board. A space is a location in the panel board where a circuit breaker can be installed. The number of spaces that are needed will depend on the size of the electrical system. It's always a good idea to choose a panel board with more spaces than are currently needed, in case the electrical system needs to be expanded in the future. When selecting a replacement panel board, it's also important to consider the voltage rating of the panel board. The voltage rating of the panel board must be compatible with the voltage of the electrical system. In North America, the most common voltage ratings for panel boards are 120/240 volts and 277/480 volts. It's important to choose a panel board with the correct voltage rating to ensure that the electrical system will operate safely and correctly. When selecting a replacement panel board, it's also important to consider the amperage rating of the panel board. The amperage rating of the panel board must be equal to or greater than the total load of all the circuits that the panel board serves. It's important to choose a panel board with the correct amperage rating to ensure that the panel board is not overloaded. Overloading a panel board can cause the circuit breakers to trip, which can interrupt power to the electrical system. In some cases, overloading a panel board can also cause a fire. When selecting a replacement panel board, It's also important to consider the physical size of the panel board. The panel board must be small enough to fit in the available space. It's important to measure the available space before choosing a panel board. It's also important to consider the location of the panel board when choosing a panel board. Panel boards should be located in a dry, well-ventilated area. Panel boards should not be located in areas where they are exposed to moisture or extreme temperatures. When selecting a replacement panel board, it's also important to consider the manufacturer of the panel board. There are many different manufacturers of panel boards. Some manufacturers are more reputable than others. It's important to choose a panel board from a reputable manufacturer to ensure that the panel board is of high quality and will perform reliably. Some of the most reputable manufacturers of panel boards include Square D, Eaton, and Siemens. These manufacturers have been in business for many years and have a proven track record of producing high-quality panel boards. When selecting a replacement panel board, it's also important to consider the warranty that is offered by the manufacturer. A warranty is a guarantee that the panel board will be free from defects in materials and workmanship for a certain period of time. It's important to choose a panel board with a good warranty to protect against the cost of repairs or replacement if the panel board fails. When selecting a replacement panel board, it's also important to consider the price of the panel board. The price of a panel board can vary depending on the size, features, and manufacturer of the panel board. It's important to compare prices from different suppliers before making a decision. It's also important to consider the total cost of ownership when choosing a panel board. The total cost of ownership includes the purchase price of the panel board, the cost of installation, and the cost of maintenance. It's important to choose a panel board that is affordable to purchase and maintain. Replacing a Kelek panel board is an important safety upgrade. While some parts might still be found, planning for a replacement is the most prudent course of action. When dealing with electrical systems, always prioritize safety and compliance with the National Electrical Code.